Hello and welcome back to another trailer breakdown. Now, with the Outcast 2 gameplay trailer, we have a lot to break down and a lot of hidden details that I'm very excited to dig into. So, fill up that empty glass and join me as we break down this trailer frame by frame. So first off, what we're going to do, we're actually going to take note of what the narrator for this trailer is talking about. She goes on to say, "This is my home, my planet Adelpha. Ever since I was a girl, I wanted to become a Dolotai guardian, to protect Adelpha and all its creatures, big and small, virtuous and vicious, to defend against those who want to exploit its beauty and destroy it. But now we face our greatest threat, and we need all the help we can get." Which I think is pretty telling of what the story is going to be about, and it seems like this female character is going to be a big part of it as well. It seems like one that wants to break out of the patriarchy they were brought into. In Outcast, all the females are kept away from the males all year round, but it seems like this one knows about the Dolotai Guardians, who were pretty much the guys who were looking after everybody whilst the whole reign of Feyran was going on in the last game. So it seems like this one wants to break the mold. A very interesting story. So let's continue the trailer and see what we've got. So we have this beautiful sweeping shot of the canopy area, and it seems like it's going to be a massive location that's completely explorable. On the right hand side here you can see we've got what looks like a structure. I say that because it doesn't seem to have any leaves or branches sprouting out of it. We've got a mountainous region there in the background, which I think is going to be a divide for another region, a different biome maybe, so it's not all just forest. We'll see later on that there is actually a few different types of trees as well in this game. It's not just this big jungle canopy. We then fade into the ground floor of the forest, where we've got a beautiful variety of vegetation and rock faces here, which look very, very similar to how they did in Second Contact. So I'm really happy to see that there has been some consistency brought over from that game. We then move into a cavernous area, which has got a Krakit, I believe they're called, the spider horrible things there on the side. I'm not sure if this is their eggs or anything. I doubt it. I think it's just a cool little bioluminescent thing. It seems like the ones on the walls and this nice luminous blue are the ones on the ground here flash a red. So I wonder if that has anything to do with it. I wonder if this has anything to do with why the bad guys are here. I mean, you can kind of see at the end there another Krakit walking around. Do I think this is a different region? No, I think this is probably just a little cavern you can cut through. We then cut to this really old looking temple ruins. I say ruins, but you know, the lights are on, but it seems like nobody might be home. We've got a waterfall on the right hand side there. We've got some debris that hasn't been cleaned up, so maybe this was recently hit with something. And if we go far forward, we've got these interesting little idols here, left and right. I wonder if this is maybe the docking area for the males to come into the city of Tsar. And this is the city of Tsar, the entrance to it. And at the far back, you can see we've got some like blue lights, it looks like maybe at the entrance there. I don't know, it's quite hard to see. But this building is huge. Look how high it goes into the sky. It's ridiculous. There's some pillars there and everything. It's a very grand looking location. So I wonder if this is where we saw all the Talan partying in the previous trailer. Now, the only other time we've seen blue glowing lights in some ruins were from the CGI trailer where we saw Cutter fall from the sky, or whatever he was doing. So maybe this isn't Tsar, but this is maybe a temple somewhere else that summoned the Uruk-hai. We then fade back from black to Tsar, the region that has been built on a bunch of desert spires. I wonder if it's still going to be called Tsar. That was the name it was given in the development for A Lost Paradise. But first off, what are these strange pillars? Very interesting. Anyway, back to the main picture. But you can see we've got some prayer flags similar to what you'll find in Nepal up in the mountains. A bunch of Talan that are pretty much just like banging nails in things and doing stuff. This seems like a very new area for them to be creating. You can see scaffolding over everything. So I think that they've just found a Daoka and they're now making a civilization. I'm now making a town around this new entrance. You can see a lot going on. There's lots of Talan around here, and by the looks of it, they all look males. So it seems like, yes, we are still going to see that divide continue on into this game. We then fade into, I reckon, is still part of that massive map, but at the coast. As you can see, we've got the beautiful blue lagoon looking area of the coast here, a bunch of ships and everything. These massive coral-like looking trees. Absolutely beautiful, guys. Out to sea, there is this pillar over there. I don't know if this is supposed to be a protection against some of the more beastie things in the ocean. But as you can see, there is the big canopy over there with its massive vines and roots and everything, I guess. But yeah, this looks like it could be a fishing town. In the previous game, we did have Tsar, which was a huge city that had box, and every box kind of had a specific item they would sell. And now it seems like we're having a look at some of the places where these items come from. So here could be fish, and we'll see later on some of the areas where the fruit is picked. On the right hand side, just for a second, you can see a Daoka. So yes, again, it looks like where there is a Daoka found, the Talan will always create settlements. Because it makes perfect sense. Now in this one, it does have a single ring, but just like the original game, it looks like the location of where this one leads is carved into the top of it. However, this one and pretty much all the ones we see for the rest of the game all have these kind of base stations to them. So I wonder if maybe some of them can be programmed to go different locations. I don't know. Pure speculation, guys. We then cut to the canopy toppers, what I was talking about before, with all the berries and whatnot. As you can see, there is the main fruit that we saw in the CGI trailer, the announcement trailer, of all the fruit and everything. So I think that dance party outside was going on not too far from here. But we got these big sort of grape plummy things I was talking about, and these big pineapple prickly pear looking things as well that hang down from some of the vines. And from the entrance you can see just how high up we are. It looks like to the bottom left there, that seems to be the bottom floor. So they're pretty high up. And as we can see, a flag there down at the bottom is revealed that this is probably the same location. Definitely probably the same location from the announcement trailer. We cut back to Tsar, and this is a very revealing shot of the Daoka. And again, just like the one we saw in the announcement trailer, it has this additional ring, which is broken off in the same place. Quite interesting, as the other one was. Now, what other massive ring was there in a previous Outcast game that seemed to have a piece missing? Yes, it was seen in Okar, the forest region of Adelpha. However, that one didn't have a Daoka just below it. It had water running through it. So I wonder if maybe there was a Daoka there originally, and water would flow into the other location, and that was seen as some sort of a resource gathering area that the ancients may have created, or that Daoka was just moved on over to the location it is in. But again, we have this interesting base station to it, which has this little dial or something there that makes me wonder, can these things be reprogrammed? I don't know. As we go through this sweeping shot, we can actually see the location of the last shot, which is just down there. So we're getting two angles of the same area. And if you look towards the back there seems to be another tower. In fact, the buildings over there seem to have a red strip to them. We'll see later on that the enemies have these kind of more mechanical looking bases, so I think they may have set one up over there just to keep an eye on the Talan. While we see them killing a bunch of Talan in the announcement trailer, I don't think that's their whole plan, otherwise why would they be keeping these guys alive? I think it's more of an oppressive regime, and that's kind of like a base that's going to be there. So my wonder is, are we going to have these bases dotted around everywhere, and Cutter needs to kind of take them all down? Very similar to Just Cause 3. Hopefully that won't become too tedious like that game. Anyway, in the rest of the shot, we got some areas down there, which seem to have a bit more vegetation and life to them. We got a Twanhar, first look at a Twanhar pulling a cart full of stuff. And again, a massive emphasis on the creation of this place. We can see Talan dotted around, carving things, banging nails in things, huge scaffolding structures. This is on a completely different level to anything we've seen in Outcast. This is literally concept art brought to life, and I can't believe it. We then have this sweeping shot through one of the cavern areas in Tsar. And if we go back to this previous shot of Tsar, we can kind of see that, yeah, it does have some little tunnels, which they probably would set up these additional areas. And you can kind of see the rocks around the area, and the prayer flags at the top are all very similar. It looks fantastic. We've still got those baskets we've seen in other shots. There's a really nice consistency to the world. I really do like that. We then come to another location inside of the huge area. A swampy area that seems to be on the base of the cavern floor. We have a Talan there fishing, doing his thing. A couple other boats. And yeah, what looks like some jetties and whatnot, which people may go down to and everything. There's not much more to take from this, but it just looks great. It just looks really nice. Hope he catches something. We then come to a clearing, which again I think is in the same location, where we have Twanhars aplenty. And look, there's a Talan riding one, which was something, one of the, I think it was called Zelinus, which was the Talan in the previous game that looked after some Twanhars, and he was very much against Cutter riding Twanhars. And it seems like, hey, it's now seen as a normal thing. So we have this little area here, which is probably more farmland, I guess. Possibly. We've got a few interesting things over there, which I don't know what that looks like, but some kind of structure. Maybe it's just a storage area. And at the end of the shot, we've got like what looks like a water mill kind of thing over there. So yeah, I'd say this is pretty more of a farming area. We've got some guys pulling some rice probably over there, I imagine. Rice being the crop that was farmed in Outcast. And yeah, a couple of Talan just sitting there enjoying themselves. We've got several birds flying in the background up to the top right-hand corner and up to the top left-hand corner. I wonder how far away this settlement is to the one on the beach, because we can see there's a similarity in the design of these huts. We then have a nice little shot of the small guys we saw in the CGI trailer. We've got 1, 2, 3 walking around, a few more in the back. There's a few fighting, I think, or something in the back there. Very cat-like. And yeah, there's one there on the floor, just happily lying down, scratching himself. I'm pretty sure it's not dead. We then have this tracking shot of a bunch of gamors running through a valley. I think a big emphasis on this game is going to be the animal life, which I'm so happy about because, well, yeah, there was animal life in Outcast, but it was limited based on when that game came out and everything. Obviously, you can't have too many things, but it seems like they really want to go hard with the animal life in this one, which I'm so happy about. So gamors were kind of like the dog equivalent, I guess, in Outcast. They're more wolf-like, I guess. They kind of looked a bit like tigers as well. So it's kind of like the on 4 legs predator analog in this game. However, these ones don't seem to have the stripes that were seen in the previous game. These look a lot more meatier, I guess, more chunkier. So they may not even be gamors. It might be something else altogether. But again, I think we're in this same massive region. I think it's going to be a massive map. This looks like a valley they're running through. And we've got more of the same rocks types, the same kind of tree types. In the background, you can see there's another big stone structure with plant life all over it. And then we get an introduction to one of these installments that the invading force seem to be. So what have we got? We've got a bunch of these drone-like things coming in. I'm going to call this drone type number 1. And then we've got these towers here, which again look very similar to the ones we saw in the background of Tsar. And if we look closely, we have a couple of robotic guys walking around. Now, it's a bit too far away to see what kind of type these are. Are they the type 1, 2, or 3 we saw in the announcement trailer? That was the ones that were the melee combat ones with the orange flares inside them, the single shot ones with the yellow light inside them, or the rapid fire ones, a bit more bulkier ones with the blue lights inside them. Honestly, it's probably going to be a mix. But this is one of the settlements we see that they have. And in this shot here, we can very much see all the damage they're doing. Lots of tree life broken down and everything, and tree life is exactly what they seem to be farming. As in this shot, we can see these pump stations wrapped around the trees. So that's really interesting. In the original plot for the sequel, an invading force was here for another resource, so it looks like things have changed since then, because I don't remember it being trees. So is there something about Adelpha's trees that may connect to an energy source? I don't know. Very interesting. But as we can see, yeah, they've completely wrecked this place, and they'll probably continue on. We then cut to what I'm going to guess, again, is Tsar, but maybe the bottom ground of it. And we can see all this wreckage and damage, and if you ask me, it looks like this stuff has been here for a while. Although this could actually be the wreckage of Cutter maybe destroying one of the settlements there. We then cut to this, again, I want to say it's the same massive map, but the trees here are very different. So, do you know what I'm going to say, guys? I'm going to say this is probably the same map, but this is on the other side of that massive mountain we saw in one of the first shots. That one that covers the horizon. I think this is on the other side, because look at the trees. So we've got these evergreen looking trees, the pines and whatnot, surrounding this really old looking building. And, well, if you ask me, guys, this architecture does not match Talan architecture at all. This could be some of the remains of the ancients that was mentioned in the announcement trailer. So what have we got here? It looks like it's a library, and this massive thing in the middle, which I think might be alluring to the 2 moons in the sky, which I think play a much bigger part in this game than it did in the previous. Why I say the 2 moons? Well, we've got that massive sphere there in the middle, which seems to be lit up still, and then we've got, on the right-hand side of it, a smaller one. There are a few more above it hanging around, but I don't know. I honestly don't know, but there's clearly something key going on here. I think a lot of mysteries are going to be uncovered playing this game, and I cannot wait for it. But look at this is gorgeous. Very Uncharted-esque, if I do say so, which is a very good thing, in my opinion. But yeah, there seems to be loads of books skewed around the place and everything. Very interesting. We then get the reveal that, yes, this canopy is hugely explorable and very high because, look, it's Cutter standing there, chilling out. In a couple more shots, we're really going to understand just how high this canopy is. We then get a shot of the second type of these drone ships flying around, which seem to be flying over the canopy in this formation of 5. So I'm wondering if these will be zipping around anyway, and it'll be something you have to look out for if they're going to swoop on you or whatnot if you come across their path. And then we have this really nice close-up shot of the back of this single-shot yellow guy. Holy hell, and wow, they are really, really detailed. And dang, there's some speakers at the bottom there. That's pretty cool. Guy's got some nice bass system there. And then we get this close-up shot of this crab-like creature, this spider kind of robot. So this is going to be well, I don't think we can class this the same as the bipedal guys, which, as you can see there in the background, there's one of the blue ones. So I'm going to call this class the bulks. So the first one in this category is this crab thing. Also, additional note whilst I'm editing, the animator who animated this crab's reveal very much liked my reaction to it. And then we have Cutter with his in-game face reveal and dialogue. Now at the moment, obviously, it's all a bit jarring for me, being used to the original voice actor over the last 21 years. And this voice seems to be very like, movie trailer. Hi, I'm Cutter Slade. Friendly neighborhood... What does he say? Your friendly neighborhood invader slayer. Interesting choice. Anyway, so let's just look at the costumes. We've got the Ulukai symbol there, we've got some of the vents, and we've got his headpiece, which isn't lit up at the moment, so it's clearly not using it. But they've really gone to town with this flare of orange and yellow, which I really do like. It's a really nice colour combination. And then we get this shot, which sadly is a bit compressed, but, yep, looks like Cutter's got a wingsuit. And I mentioned Just Cause 3 before, so it looks like they really are going in that direction with kind of how you can traverse around the map, which, in my opinion, is a great thing. I love the wingsuit in Just Cause 3, and it's great to see a mechanic like that brought into Outcast 2. Very exciting. And yeah, we get an idea of how deep these canopies are. It's kind of ridiculous. Nothing much to see in the background here. Again, we've got this big mountain wall around there. And yes, like I said, I think that's where that library is. We then cut to Cutter with a shield out, reflecting some of the laser beams from a bulky crab. And as you can see in the top left-hand corner, we've got the drone type 1, which I reckon will just be patrolling these kind of areas with single shots maybe. And then over here we can see like a generator of some sort with a shield around it. Maybe that's something we'll have to take out to be able to deactivate this facility. And speaking of this facility, is that English I see there? Warning on the side? Oh, this is interesting. Does this mean that this invading force isn't like a robotic element from somewhere else? Is this us? Very interesting. And of course, bottom left-hand corner, you can see the dead corpse of one of the yellow single-shot robots. We then see this shield as actually can be used as a weapon as it spins around and cuts into one of the robots, or at least pushes him. He kind of does this amazing little fly. In the background, there seems to be something going on over there, but I don't think it's anything that we can really discern one way or the other. But if you look through the door there, it looks like we're on a beach location, so this will definitely be near the coastline, similar to that little Talan village. We then have this beautiful shot, which cuts beautifully into the next area where Cutter's beating up robots still. Now quickly, let's talk about guns. In Outcast, there was a good selection of them, and it seems here that Cutter is using probably the HKP-12, I think, is a single basic shot. Yeah, it looks like quite the small one. And as we can see here, it is doing single shots. And speaking of single shots, here's the single shot robots doing their single shots. And there is one of the drones above it, which it doesn't look like it's shooting anything in this at all. And also, what's that through the window? It looks like another generator of some sort. And a closer look at the backpack here, we've got a capacity meter of some sort on the back there. Maybe this has been introduced to have a minimalistic HUD, which I'm very much in favour of. And very interestingly is the letters we see on the back of his things. WFA. Now this is very interesting because in the original story for the sequel that was cancelled back in 2001, the WFA were a part of that as well. I won't go into it too much because I don't want to get into story spoilers because, well, it seems that they're bringing back a lot of elements that were lost in that game. So I'm very excited for this. I'm very excited for you guys to learn all about it. We then finish on this kind of Grand Slam Cutter dance, which looks hilarious. And you can see at the bottom there, we've got this indicator to show where you're going to land. The shield becomes orange. And Cutter flips it underneath him. And we then see him use his jetpacks to really push himself down. So much so he's burning into the atmosphere. Adelpha must be very high in oxygen. I mean, the size of those bloody trees, it probably is. But yeah, as you can see, we've got a few more of the single shot robots here. And if we go back a little bit, well, yeah, you can see there seems to be this vehicle up there. Put it in the comments, guys. Do you think we're going to be able to fly these things? I hope so. And then we end on this shot of Cutter saying, different planet, same problems. And in the background, you can see, yeah, a tower of one of these facilities, which, again, Looks very similar to the one we saw in the background of Tsar. So there we go, guys. I am very excited for this, and I hope you've enjoyed this trailer breakdown. Let me know if I missed anything in the background. But be sure to return for more Outcast content, especially seeing how the next episode will be covering the map that I was able to liberate from the website, and we're going to try and put all the locations we've seen so far from the trailers onto it and more. And please do subscribe, it really does help out. If this is the first time you've heard about Outcast, well, I've got a couple of videos in my channel that'll hopefully bring you up to speed with this series. I've been Adam, and this is the place for all things Outcast, so please do subscribe, and I'll see you next time under the moons. See you later!